Hello and welcome again to Fabulous Food Friday, a spot of positivity. And I love doing this because I do love cooking. I love creating wonderful things for my family, and I hope you do too. And today we're going to do something that's kind of an unlikely summer thing, but it works all year round actually, but here we are in summer, and it's because it uses nice fresh fruit. It's called Perishky, and it's a kind of pastry parcel that can use just about any kind of fruit you want to use. So I'm actually not going to start by making my pastry today. I've already made it and I'll give you the recipe afterwards. It's a super easy pastry to make and I'll tell you about it in a minute. But right now I'm just going to show you. I've got some apricots. Apricots are ripe right now and I thought it'd be nice to use some up. This is a super simple way of doing it. And basically what I do is I have some pastry already in the fridge or in the freezer ready to be used, and I use little bits of it as I need it. It gives a nice summer treat. Also doesn't take long to cook. Now I don't know if you saw what I did with my apricot. You just cut it in half and then the seed should pop out if it's ripe enough. That's right. See the next one like this. So I just cut it in half like that all the way around, and then I revolve it like that, rotate it, and then the seed should pop out. Sometimes you have to cut the flesh off. I'm just going to cut my fruit like that. It doesn't actually matter how it looks. It's not going to be seen because it's going to be covered in pastry. Now I'm going to use a mixture, I think, of apricots and apples for this recipe. Apple singular. And we'll see how we do. Some of these apricots aren't as ripe as others, but there's going to be a bit of sugar. But again, not heaps of sugar, just a little bit of sugar and a little bit of flour to thicken. I've got a mixture here in this jar, in this rather unattractive jar of, this is going to sound like a lot, but I use a little bit at a time and then I just keep it ready. 2 cups of sugar or caster sugar mixed with 3/4 cup of flour. It can be flour mixed with corn flour / cornstarch. It doesn't matter. It can just be all flour or a mixture of the two. It really doesn't matter. It's just used to kind of keep the juiciness of the fruit from seeping out. Now, here's how I cut an apple. Again, I rotate all around. This is how my mom cut it, so that's how I do it. I go underneath the core and around there and pop it up like that. Now I'm going to peel this apple because I don't really want the peel in there. Be very careful. I'm sure that a chef would not want you to do this, but I'm just going along the outside like that, getting rid of the peel. I'm sure everybody knows how to peel apples. Anyway, that's how I do it. Maybe just use half this apple. Now, the thing about this, you can use raspberries, you can use, I've never used strawberries. You can use plums, you could use rhubarb, and probably any number of exotic fruits I don't know about. Okay. I think that this is going to be enough of a fruit mixture. There we go. Now, I'm just going to pause the video for a sec. I'm going to go get the pastry out and show you what I do with the pastry. Okay, I've just taken my pastry out of the fridge. It's quite a warm day, so I don't want to leave it on the counter for too long. Now, the batch of pastry I made has done about 6 or 7 pies already. I've got a lump about this big. I'm just going to cut it in half because I think this is going to make 2 little pies. I'm sprinkling this. I'm going right on my parchment here because this is going to go in my oven. It saves me having to move it. Flattening it out with my hands a little bit. And I'm going to roll it out. Actually, a nice hint to do here, under the parchment, I'm going to put a cloth because I don't want it slipping around the place. There you go. Now, put that down here. I'm gonna roll it out. And the thing about this pastry that is really wonderful is that it rolls out pretty thin, and that's why it's not such a totally rich treat that you can't have it. You can enjoy a little bit of this and you don't feel like you're having, you know, a big puff pastry thing. There we go. So this is almost as thin as I can make it. There we go. Now you take your mixture, I just mentioned it before, of the thickener, the sugar mixed with flour or corn flour. You put about 1 teaspoon along, see I've made kind of an oblong shape here, put about 1 teaspoon along that edge there. Actually, I'm probably making way too much fruit, but it's okay. And then I can just arrange some fruit along it. Little mixture of apple and apricot. There we go. Get some apricot on that end. And a little bit more on that end. We've got a nice little mixture there. Now all I want to do here is fold this up along here. Actually, probably put a little more in. You know what? Put a wee bit more in. Now of course, if you liked to add cinnamon or something like that, you could do that. No, just putting this around here. Pinch it together a little bit. Roll it and pinch it like that. It's not difficult. It works. It's so easy to work with this dough. It is not like a flaky pastry dough that you have to be super careful with. And look at that. That's all I need to do. And make one more, guys. And pop it in the oven. A bit of flour. And I'm going to repeat this process. So I'll tell you what is in the pastry, if you're curious. In the pastry we have 1 cup of butter, or a mixture between butter and lard or shortening. I just had butter. I just try not to use hydrogenated vegetable oil. It's just not my thing. This is slightly smaller, this one here. And that is okay. It doesn't really matter about the shape. And again, a little bit of this stuff on the bottom. There we go. A few bits of fruit in the top. Now you see how little sugar actually went into them. I was actually meant to do a little teaspoon of that in the top as well. And that's going to keep the juices from like spilling over onto your tray. And you pinch the edges shut and see that? You have 2 lovely perishky. Now I'm going to just transfer them onto my pan. Magically. And I'm going to pop them in the oven. The oven is on 190. I'm going to leave them in there for about 12 minutes, okay? Okay, I think we have some very nice, ready perishky here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Where am I going to put them? This is going to get closed. There we go. And place on it. So there we go. So, take a look at this. The juices are coming out a tiny wee bit, but not too bad. I actually turned my oven up to about 200, 210, because the original recipe says 25 minutes. It doesn't need 25 minutes. It needs about, on a fan oven, it needs about 12 to 15 minutes, depending. And you want to have them, they can be a little lighter than that too. I think the moment that you're all waiting for is for me to open one up and see what it looks like inside. So this is what I'm going to do. Look at this little guy. Now, these are best eaten fresh on the day, but they're not necessarily best eaten piping hot. You could do that with ice cream as a thing. They're really nice just eaten room temperature, wait about an hour. However, we're not waiting about an hour. And there you go. The fruit's all beautifully done inside. You just serve them in little slices like that. And of course it would stay together a bit nicer if it was a bit cooler. But that's what it's like. Absolutely delicious summer snack. But of course wintertime too. Whatever fruit is in season or whatever fruit you have frozen in your freezer, ready to come out and be made into lovely little things. These will work really well for unexpected company, or just when you really need a little treat. Now the pastry is very thin, and so although the pastry has lots of fat in it, you roll it out thin and you're not going to get a big fatty treat and not a big sugary treat either. That is a nice little size to enjoy. Now, I promised you I was going to tell you how to make the pastry. I will include the recipe down below, but I'm going to tell you verbally right now, just so you know. There's a cup of some kind of fat, like butter or shortening. There are 3 cups of flour. Actually, you can use regular plain flour, or you can use all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour. They all work. Somebody might think I'm talking nonsense, but it's true. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 egg, and 1 cup of milk. And basically, you crumble all the dry ingredients together with the butter or shortening, and you just crumble with your hands, or if you have a pastry blender. But I just use my hands. They're washed really well. And then you use your fingertips, and then you bring it all together with the liquids. It's all it is. Just put it to a small dough, and a smooth dough. You don't need to do all kinds of kneading to it. You put it in your fridge, and you can store it in your fridge for about a week. It'll keep. Or you can put it in little bits and put it in your freezer, and that keeps even better. And when you're ready for it, thaw it for a while in your fridge, and you can have a lovely pastry any time of day. So that was a little experience of Perishky in my kitchen this morning. Hope you enjoyed joining me today on A Spot of Positivity.